Hey everybody, welcome back to StabilityWOD. I wanted to revisit Serratus Anterior today and share another trick with regard to how to get it activated. The push-up version of Serratus Anterior is extremely effective for some people. I think this is a tricky muscle because unlike some other muscles, like the low trap for instance, it's really hard to have intention around contracting your Serratus Anterior. You kind of need to do something to trigger it, to get it to work, to get it back online, and then you just keep your fingers crossed and hope to God that it actually works when you need it to work. What I like about this next corrective exercise that I want to share is that not only does it help to turn the muscle on, but it coordinates it with your low trap, and it does it through a full range of motion to a fully overhead position. So in that way, it's just a little more functional way to wake that muscle up and bring it back online. Let's go back to the gym and check it out. So I'm back here with James, my favorite case example, and he's gonna be my demo for this corrective exercise, and he's an appropriate person because he was just sharing as he switched from a tennis player, he's right-handed, to a CrossFitter. He realized very quickly that his shoulders and his rotator cuff weren't tolerating it very well. He had to really develop his back because he'd had so much development in his front swinging a tennis racket. His anterior delt, his pec were so developed compared to his scapular muscles. So if you turn around, he can still do this party trick, that's good there, where he can wing his scapulas out, where he can actually make them tilt forward and come away from his rib cage so that I can even get my fingers up underneath there. When you see someone who's actually winging, bring your arms up to the front, James, up in a flexion, you'll actually see that you can get the inner border of the shoulder blade will actually wing away, and he's from the ribs, and he's actually not doing that now, which is great. He's developed enough muscle control over time that he can actually move in a healthy way. Bring your arms up over your head, James. Do it slowly, come on back down. If you do it slowly as you go overhead, you can see his shoulder blade going from here to here as he goes up. The line of his shoulder blade is now oriented that way. His low traps are pulling down, nice definition, pulling down into his mid-back. And he's had to work really hard to develop that control in his low traps. So you guys, the corrective exercise for Serratus Anterior involves a relatively light band. This is the lightest loop of band that you can get. It's also not very long. What is it, maybe, I don't know, 8 inches long there when it's not on tension. You can put your hands through there. His palms are gonna face each other. He's gonna pull his hands apart, which is gonna externally rotate his shoulder, activate the back of his rotator cuff. He's gonna have to work really hard to keep his elbows in because they're gonna wanna flare out, just like they do when we do crappy push-ups or when we're not moving well. And then he's gonna slide his hands up vertically, keeping his forearms parallel with one another all the way to the overhead position. Now normally I have people do this facing a wall so they have a guide for how to move. Come on back down slowly. Let's turn around, James, face the other way so we can see your back. He's gonna face the wall. He can either slide up the wall or just use it as a guide. He's pulling his hands apart. He's pulling his elbows together, working really hard to keep his forearms parallel to one another, all the way up and all the way down. He's also trying very hard to keep his neck relaxed. He's already getting tired because he's done a few of these, but let me tell you, it does not take very many reps to get this muscle activated and to start to really appreciate the fatigue that comes from this corrective exercise. Try it again, James. Pay attention to his low traps here. You're gonna see how his low traps activate to pull his shoulder blades up into superior rotation, along with his Serratus Anterior, which kind of comes around into his ribs, comes around this way. Can you do 2 more? The prescription, you guys, even for someone strong like James, is a 2 to 3 second up, a 2 to 3 second hold, and a 2 to 3 second down, always pulling the elbows in. That seems to be the hardest part for even the strongest athletes. Show us one more. 3 seconds up. You probably go a little faster. He's gonna hold it. He's gonna slowly come back down. Now, 5 to 10 reps of this is usually enough. James and I were just talking about using this as a warm-up before any overhead movement because it's such a great way to get muscles online and to cue them to get ready for the overhead positions that we do so often in CrossFit. But this also carries over to tennis, volleyball, again, rock climbing, anything where you're overhead. How does that feel in your shoulders?
Well, for one, they're really warm. My low traps are like heating up and also like really turned on. Like I feel like I could kind of it's like almost like I want to bench press because my back is so activated and like so tight. Like I feel like my shoulder blades are pulled back, my chest is out,
so you feel
posture's even better.
Yeah, you feel it in your low traps as much as your serratus
like
anterior.
My shoulders down and my chest forward.
And you make a good point. Like I think for overhead movements, this is really critical because of what serratus anterior does to superiorly rotate our shoulder blades. But after our conversation yesterday about push-ups and bench press and pushing movements, the serratus anterior, even though it has a slightly different job, is just as important. So thanks for making that point. That's really helpful to know. Yeah. Any other thoughts?
It's hard. It's really hard.
You can do it every day, you told me.
Maybe.
Yeah, you're very committed.
Every day.
James is very committed to his shoulder health. Thanks you guys for tuning back into StabilityWOD. I look forward to continuing this conversation tomorrow. If you like what you saw today, click the like button. Please leave me comments or questions in the box below. Please take a second to subscribe. See you tomorrow. Thanks, James.